Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to our second video of Alive in 5. For those of you who don't know, Alive in 5 is our weekly 5-minute video that tries to wrap up everything that we've seen on the internet in regards to holistic human optimization. That's essentially anything that is involved in improving and enhancing the human experience and our own individual experience. So that's things from the world of physical health, mental wellness, and overall life philosophy. So let's get into our first tip for the week. This is actually a concept from John Vervaeke's work on both wisdom and meaning, specifically from his YouTube series called Awakening from the Meaning Crisis. John's work focuses heavily on wisdom and what it is to really know something in a very deep way. So he breaks knowledge down into 4 levels. The first of which is propositional. This is fact-based knowledge. It's knowing that something, so knowing that the sky is blue. It's very fact-based, it's very left brain and quite rigid, but somewhere where we often sit in our thinking if we're not thinking about how we can go deeper into understanding concepts. The next level is procedural. So this is knowing how to do something. It's knowing about process, but it's still kind of stuck in the theory side of things. It's only knowing how to, it's not taking another step further. The next one is perspectival. So this is knowing something from our own unique experience. Maybe we've been there before. It's knowing something through our senses and the perspective that we apply through the world. So everyone looks at the world through a different lens, and perspectival knowledge is about what that lens is affording you in terms of knowledge. What are you seeing, or what are you sensing in particular about a situation or an environment? And the last level of knowing is participatory. So this is the deepest level of knowledge. It's actually knowledge that we gain from really being there and doing something. So interacting with the world, being really embedded in a process and conducting ourselves within it. That's the deepest form of knowledge. It's getting to the heart of what wisdom's about, which is applied knowledge and embodied cognition. So that's really where we want to sit for wisdom. I just thought that was really interesting. The next tip we're going to talk about this week is an introduction to meditation. So there's a really cool 10-minute guided meditation that you can do if you just type it in on YouTube, Meditation by Alan Watts. It'll come up. Alan Watts is a really well-renowned and respected spiritual guru. It's not your typical guided meditation where someone's going to say, describe a scene to you, like lying on a beach or something, and the only really meditative experience from that and what you'll get from that is just trying to bring your mind constantly back to building that scene. It's a little bit different and a little bit less typical. He essentially guides you through a meditation by describing what you should be experiencing and progressively opening up our awareness until we're in a very open meditative state. So what he does this through guiding us through awareness of the senses first. He guides us through our sense of sight, our sense of touch, our sense of smell, and then our sense of hearing. And then he encourages us to be aware of our thoughts. And then he makes the meditative shift, which is being aware of your thoughts as if they were those sounds or if they were those senses. So that's what meditation is, kind of removing us from being really identified with our thoughts to just experiencing them and being aware of them. So this is a really good meditation, super short, really good for beginners or experienced meditators alike. So let's get into the next tip. This one is a little bit of a change of pace. This one's more for our physiology. It's essentially the work of Nick Bare. So if you're into fitness but you're into a more holistic approach to fitness, I 100% recommend you check out his work. He's a really inspiring guy because not only is he really into strength training and into sort of powerlifting and that kind of thing, he takes a really holistic approach and he talks a lot about the mental side of fitness and the mental capacities you need to build to be really capable in a vast array of athletic areas. And he's also really interested in endurance and the mental side of endurance sports. So if you are interested in the intersection between strength, athleticism, and endurance, I recommend you check out his work, specifically his recent videos where he documents his journey to run a sub 3-hour marathon, which is an amazing feat for a guy who looks like a bodybuilder. But he documents that in great detail and really lays out exactly what it takes to do something of that physical caliber. The second to last resource that we're going to discuss is a book called The Laws of Human Nature by Robert Greene. This is essentially a really in-depth of human nature itself and what makes us tick as humans, both as individuals and when we're within groups as a collective. So he goes really into detail about the understanding he has of human emotions, human motivations, the limits of our ego, some of the social games that we like to play as humans, and just overall gives a really good account of the psychological and behavioral phenomenon that has remained so constant throughout millennia with humans. A really cool account, just if you want to understand more about yourself as an individual and also about the people around you. Because the more we can understand about the people around us and ourselves and kind of cultivate a self-awareness, the better we can sort of make decisions in the social world and interact with others and ultimately achieve better outcomes for everyone. Really good book. If you like Robert Greene's work based on this book, also check out his other books such as Mastery and the 48 Laws of Power. Exceptional books, and Robert Greene just has such a really awesome way of writing about human nature and everything to do with the human experience, really. The last resource we're going to discuss is actually a podcast from Modern Wisdom. It's a podcast where Chris Williams, who's the host of the Modern Wisdom podcast, sits down with Don McGregor, the COO of Social Chain, and they talk about a whole range of concepts that are really interesting, and it's a fascinating podcast overall. But the reason I chose it is because they spoke about something that's really fascinating, really important to both of their lives, and something that I'm particularly starting to get interested in, which is sobriety and why sobriety. So they talk about why anyone would choose to be sober for a particular period of time, and why everyone needs to be a little bit considerate when it comes to the use of these substances. So obviously not everyone has a problem with these things, but both of them advocate the need to be conscious around our decisions and the benefits of sober periods of a month or more. They recommend this because obviously you get really good mental benefits, so your mental acuity, your verbal dexterity really sharpens up, and then also the physical benefits for your health and your fitness and things like that are obviously great. But importantly, they also talk about the need to kind of step away from that lifestyle for an extended period of time and ensure that the things you're doing aren't just habitual and you're not just doing them on autopilot. If you remove it for a long period of time, you're able to really consciously reflect on whether you want to actually bring yourself back into those situations and bring yourself back into those behaviors, and you can behave more consciously that way and make more informed and self-reflective decisions. So something I'm really interested in. They also talk about the main benefit of it, I think, is saving on your most valuable resources. So time, energy, and money will all be saved and become so much more abundant in your life if you choose to do a sober period. So something really interesting. Check it out if you also think it's interesting, and let me know what you think. So that's it, guys. That's everything for Alive in 5 this week. I hope you liked those concepts, tips, and resources. If anything's resonating with you guys in particular, or you want to see more of something, please let me know. Give me any feedback, and I'll be happy to include more of that. But that's it for now. So I'll see you all next week. Cheers.